I've prepared some remarks for this event, which I hope will be representative of what the feelings of the group as a whole are. They're certainly how I feel about the memory of this man. We are here on this day of days to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the death of a most remarkable man, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 35th President of the United States. It is very important, of course, that we also celebrate his life and all the things that he achieved for mankind. The impact that his leadership had still reverberates today. Leaders who followed him are often judged by the example that he set in his public life. If his name is invoked, it conjures up an era when the positive achievements of mankind seemed limitless. It was indeed a period in recent history when hope and optimism were perhaps at their zenith. I firmly believe John Kennedy's leadership was absolutely right for the times in which he held office. The world passed through the most dangerous period in its history during his administration, coming within hours of Armageddon. Because of his wisdom and his statesmanship, but above all his humanity, catastrophe was prevented. It is true that John Kennedy was not a perfect man. He had his faults. But here was a wealthy man who did not have to choose public service as a career or to run for the US presidency and by extension the leadership of the free world. He did so because of a desire to make the world a better place for all. So I believe we should say to those who continue to strive to assassinate his character, remember the peaceful outcome of the events of October 1962. Kennedy was an advocate of the Greek definition of peace. The full use of your powers along lines of excellence. He was indeed a perfect example of that belief. As we look back at the 50 years since his death with the problems that mankind has faced, we can only speculate as to what would have happened had he lived. Would the world have been a better place? We of course shall never know. Perhaps that is the real tragedy of his untimely death. But the fact remains that the manner of his death and the disgraceful distortion of the truth that followed is a running sore which has yet to heal. Whether it is too late for justice or not, it is never, never too late for the truth. After 50 years, the mainstream media continue to perpetuate the myth of the lone assassin. Despite this, we should not accept that this anniversary is the last opportunity to get to the truth. There must be no statute of limitations in the search for historical truth on the death of John Kennedy, and we must not go quietly. The continued cover-up of the truth by successive United States governments with their unwillingness to face the unpalatable truth of John Kennedy's death perpetuates the aura of mistrust in all governments, the situation that has existed ever since that terrible day in 1963. We need to return to the at least perceived faith in our leadership. In short, we need true leaders like John F. Kennedy, not the petty puppets we have had to endure. To paraphrase President Kennedy himself, for us all to take pride in our governments, we need governments worthy of our pride. Yet, despite this sad reality, I still believe that we can be hopeful and optimistic as we were at the beginning of the 1960s. But we need to be able to erase the terrible stain of John F. Kennedy's death. We must demand the truth, not only in the case of JFK's assassination, but other lies which we have been told. We can handle the truth, we just need to be given the chance. Only then can we begin to regain our faith in those who hold positions of power and influence. If the lie continues to be perpetuated, President Kennedy's death will continue to haunt all of those who share his ideals and vision. Finally, I would like to quote from the speech John Kennedy was on his way to give on that fateful November day 50 years ago. We in this country, in this generation, are by destiny rather than choice the watchmen on the walls of world freedom. We ask therefore that we may be worthy of our power and responsibility, that we may exercise our strength with wisdom and restraint, and that we may achieve in our time and for all time the ancient vision of peace on earth, goodwill toward men. John Kennedy did use his country's strength with wisdom and restraint, and it is no exaggeration to state that as a result of his courage we enjoy life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, whereas he personally made the ultimate sacrifice. Despite the passing of 50 years, the pain has not diminished, and we may never see the like of John F. Kennedy again, and consequently we are all the poorer for it. Adlai Stevenson expressed the loss so eloquently when he said, "We will bear the grief of his death until the day of our own."